Hello, listeners. Welcome to Tech for Doctors podcast series. Today we have a multi-talented person, Ms. Priti Patel, who is an economist by background and moved into mostly in the business arena in terms of business developments and worked in various industries. And her recent work is more into the healthcare space, and she's making things happen within that space. And also, she's got a lot of other hats to wear, and she's got her own so channel on cooking, and she still conducts lessons and keep herself busier in between. So, and welcome, Ms. Priti Patel, to our podcast series. Hello, Priti. How are you?
Hi, thank you. Good, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. This is amazing. And what an introduction. I wouldn't have ever called myself an economist.
Yes.
Yeah, no. I think I would be my lecturers at university would be horrified if they thought I was referring to myself as an economist. Having an economic degree does not qualify you as an economist, I don't think.
Right.
But yeah, no,
So
I would say
you
my
are
background is
a
marketing.
healthcare economist now. So obviously your
No, no.
work is yeah.
No, I've always been marketing.
Yeah. Okay.
My career started with marketing. I
Okay.
was very lucky. I fell into marketing, and
Yeah.
it kind of allowed me to be creative and also
Hmm.
have my business hat on.
Hmm.
So yeah, I did marketing for many different industries. I had a portfolio career before they became fashionable,
Hmm.
because I'm just inherently nosy and I like to join things up. So I would
Yeah.
flip not just like jobs, I would flip industries. So
Hmm.
I've done marketing in for like catalogs, jams and marmalades,
Hmm.
spectrophotometers, so B2B. We did
Okay.
B2C with
Yeah.
jams and marmalades, and then hair dryers,
Hmm.
facial cleaners. I was just like so many random things that I did marketing
Hmm.
for, and then
Hmm.
started
Hmm.
my own business importing swimming goggles
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
swimming armbands.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and then did a started had my own coffee shop for 6 years, which is where the cookery classes were
Hmm.
born.
Yeah.
Mainly because I needed to find a product that Group on and Living Social
Hmm.
wanted to promote, but they wanted too much margin. So I
Hmm.
created a new product in the cookery
Right.
classes,
Okay.
and that's how the cookery classes started, actually. I was the
Right.
first person to launch a cookery class on those sort of platforms.
Right.
So I'll take the credit for that because that was my brain as well.
Excellent. Well done. Wow.
Yeah,
So you keep going,
yeah.
and then so I don't know what is next for you, but I'm sure we can touch base again towards the end. So yes, it's very, very interesting. Like so, you got kind of this kind of energy and passion, and to kind of explore yourself and do different sectors, and quickly learn, and then identify gaps within those sectors, and then so trying to address some of those challenges. So that's phenomenal. So keep it going. Excellent. So now, so I was looking at some of the testimonials you have on the LinkedIn portal. So one of your uh, bosses who worked with you, she sort of mentions, you know how to work the room,
Yeah,
right? As
yeah.
one of your key skills. So can you just expand a little bit on that? So yeah.
So when people go to like networking events,
Yeah.
and it's not every time, some days I'm having an off day and I will just do what everybody else is doing, and they just sit at their desk, their
Mhm.
chair that they've
Yeah.
been allocated at their table, and
Hmm.
they may talk to the person next to them rather
Hmm.
than. And what I tend to do is I hang around by the coffee
Hmm.
and just sort of start just chatting to people,
Right.
and and then you pick up on other people, and some of my best
Hmm.
networks are actually from just hanging around at the coffee station and just talking to people about random things. So it's not just always pushing
Yeah.
what you're trying to sell, but you're trying to
Right.
get in there and hand your business card and maybe get their LinkedIn. And I love
Right.
LinkedIn. LinkedIn's brilliant, especially the scanning thing when you're on LinkedIn and you can do the
Yeah.
scan and automatically connect. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, it's just a matter of really never thinking that, oh, no one in this room is relevant to me, because you have no idea
Mhm.
what that network that individual has, and they may
Mhm.
have one contact within their network. They'll go, actually, you could be really useful to this person.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
every conversation is an opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of, and I'm just, like I said, I'm inherently nosy, so I just
Mhm.
want to find out about people, and that's what I love about the cookery classes. So I get to spend 2 hours with people, really understand their lives, find out their history around their children and how they
Yeah.
cook and how they live,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
that's what sort of almost fuels my energy. It's like understanding people and
Mhm.
connecting things up as well. So I like also putting things together, so
Mhm.
making sense of, that, oh, you'd be really useful to this person, and there might be some synergy here.
Yeah.
um and in my marketing career, I was reflecting back the other day and thinking, actually, there's some promotions that I did when
Mhm.
I sold the facial cleanser at Pifco.
Mhm.
We I went to a spa, like, went to have a massage, and I was selling this facial cleanser, and I just started the job. And I went for a massage, and this woman facial, and she did this and had these amazing products. And I went, these
Mhm.
are really lovely products. And she went, yeah, they're new in the UK. They're a French company. I said, oh, would you put me in
Mhm.
touch with your supplier?
Mhm.
And we ended up putting in little sachets of the Thalgo products into the Pifco. It wasn't Pifco. It was Carmen facial cleanser,
Mhm.
in Boots. So when I approached Boots with the promotion for that
Mhm.
season, I said,
Mhm.
look, we've got these really cool
Mhm.
face cleansing, um, this whole treatment,
Mhm.
that we can put in with the cleanser. And they went, that's excellent. Okay, let's do that. And then, they placed an order for, I don't know, 20,000 units or whatever it was. But
Wow.
that promotion ran for
Right.
10 years. They
Wow.
ran it.
Wow.
I
Amazing.
left after I
Yeah.
left after 9 months, but that promotion ran
Right.
for such a long time. And every year I'd go in at Christmas and go, "Is the Falga still in there?" Yes, it's still in
Mhm.
there. It's just
Wow.
so it's just, you just don't know when
Mhm.
you're going to come across something. And I think that's the thing with half is, the issue with my brain is that it never stops. It's kind of
Mhm.
always thinking about,
Mhm.
how can I do this? How can I do this better? How can we
Mhm.
improve this? And
Mhm.
that's kind of why my Meds on Time exists, actually. So
Mhm.
recent work has been within the digital health space.
Yeah.
And I fell into digital health tech working for a company called Brain in Hand. And then I've gone into medication adherence.
Mhm.
For the last 4 years, I was working with a company called Your Meds, but selling one product isn't going to solve the issue around medication adherence, because
Mhm.
medication adherence is so multifaceted in terms of why people don't
Mhm.
take their medication, and it can be intentionally that they
Mhm.
don't want to take it, or non-intentional. So they might have just poor health literacy, they might not understand their condition, they might not understand why they need these vital treatments, and the prescriptions are essentially vital treatments.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
we know worldwide only 50% of people take their medication correctly,
Mhm.
which to me is a shocking statistic. It's like you're being given
Yeah.
vital treatments for your long-term condition, but
Mhm.
you're choosing not to take that treatment.
Mhm.
Um, but selling just one technology
Mhm.
isn't going to cut it. And there needs to be more around education and awareness and giving people tips and hints on how to, understand their condition and why it's vital that they take that medication, and also how to report side effects to their clinicians.
Mhm.
So that's why the toolkit exists, to try
Mhm.
and build a sort of a toolkit of technologies that
Mhm.
would push and prompt people to that favorable outcome of taking their medication.
Mhm.
So take, for instance, the first technology that I've got, which is Medper.
Mhm.
It's just a smart pill box, and all it does is it takes its strip medication, you put it into the compartment, and then it lights and beeps when it's time for you to take your medication. And if
Okay.
you don't take it, it informs the support network that you've not
Mhm.
taken your medication. But
Mhm.
it's that supporter network nudge and that behavioral push to get
Mhm.
to the more favorable outcome is the
Mhm.
most important part. And it's how
Mhm.
can you use technology to
Mhm.
connect people so that the favorable outcome happens.
Mhm.
And for me, that's a really powerful piece of, that's almost taking some of the marketing background in terms of behavioral science and how do you
Mhm.
get people to do things. And, you know, if you've got your granddaughter phoning you up saying, Granddad, why have you not taken your meds? You're
Mhm.
more likely to take that medication than
Absolutely,
you
yeah.
are if
Mhm.
your wife nags you, right? If your wife
Yeah.
asks, that's a nag. But if your granddaughter asks, that's a, oh, well, she really cares and loves me. I better do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
so, so, and the ability with the technologies in the toolkit is for
Yeah.
you to have that wider network, so you can reduce that burden on that primary carer as well, which
Mhm.
is massive because we've got so many millions of unpaid carers at the moment who are
Mhm.
being almost squashed and
Mhm.
flattened. I was reading an article yesterday about them being called the sandwich generation, but really they should be more like
Mhm.
a panini generation because they're
Wow.
being pushed
Okay.
between two hot plates, and you know, and
Yeah.
they're being squashed until they basically collapse. So a simple technology like the Medper would
Mhm.
alleviate some of that. You know, I've got to remind the person I'm caring for to take their medication, and it allows that person to also become very independent around that. No one
Mhm.
wants to relinquish their independence,
Mhm.
and it's almost interesting to see how, you know, the NHS and the new 10-year plan is all about pushing it into the community and
Mhm.
trying to get more stakeholders around the individuals to sort of prompt them and push them to more favourable outcomes, not just within their how they manage their meds, but also, you know, it's
Mhm.
lifestyle as well. So improving your fitness and just generally, you know, using a wider network of community around an individual to that more
Mhm.
favourable outcome. So yeah, I
Excellent.
can't remember the original question now. I've waffled on.
That's great. So one thing I got this from this conversation is, so no AI is going to replace you.
No.
Right. So,
No, but you know, I love AI. It's speeded up the work that I can do. Yeah, no, and so I tell, like, I've got children who are in their 20s,
mm,
and I sort of, and they're both quite creative, and I think AI is excellent, but it's never going to be able to create
mhm,
new ideas,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
You're still going to need the creators.
yeah,
And so if you've got a kid who's really good at art and really good at music, push them to
mhm,
do that. Like, AI
absolutely,
can't
yeah,
create new stuff.
yeah,
It can copy and mimic and rework things that
yeah,
already exist, but it
yeah.
can't create new things. So yeah, push your children to do creative things.
Okay, definitely you are safe. So
I
that's
hope so.
excellent. Yeah, so definitely the creativity, this kind of human connect, empathy. So these are the avenues. Definitely, AI is not going to come anywhere near. So
No.
I think you are already well ahead of time in terms of, the AI is coming, and maybe you prepare yourself and say this is something. It doesn't matter what the AI is going to do. So you will be on top of the AI at the moment. So that's great, excellent, sweet spot to be in. Um, so obviously you shared your various roles in your career so far, some business development roles in various companies, and then you mentioned about your last company, so your meds, and then at what point exactly tipped you into say I need to have my own business?
So I wasn't going to have another business.
Okay,
I'd
yeah.
almost I'd almost promised myself that, you know, let's just get to retirement, just
Mhm.
stay in employed work because it's nice and safe and people pay for you to go on holiday.
Yeah.
And and after having run my own business and not anyone paying me for holiday, that was
Mhm.
the first time that happened, I was like, oh gosh. And when it re-happened, I worked early in my career, but then when I
Okay.
had my own businesses,
Mhm.
but when Ivondos arrived in the UK, so they're a Finnish company, and
Mhm.
they've got a medication
Mhm.
robot, which is a locked system, and
Mhm.
it's extremely sophisticated.
Mhm.
So it's completely locked. They've got
Mhm.
on average 99% adherence for their
Mhm.
patient users,
Mhm.
and it's got an optional two-way camera as well. So if
Mhm.
you wanted to video call someone and just check on them and watch them take their medication, you have that ability. And also it allows family to also dial in. So it takes people who are potentially quite lonely in their homes and isolated, but through a very simple piece of technology, you literally press a button. You can start talking to your entire network, and it's very easy and simple to use. So when it's time for you to take your meds, it says, it actually talks to you, and you can choose a male or a female voice. You can say it's time for you to take your medication, press the button, and the meds get dispensed out of the system. If you don't access your medication, it will pull it back in and then lock it away in the drawer. So then a carer or a loved one can go around and dispose of that medication. So when they arrived in the UK and they approached me to sort of say, come and work with us, I went, oh, now that you're here, I could do this toolkit. I could do this idea of having different technologies depending on where you are in that care pathway. You could have a different technology according to your needs, because not everybody needs an Ivondos. Ivondos is great for people with dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, on time constraint medications, complex medication regimes. That's where people require the Ivondos. But then I went, well, there's a gap in the toolkit in terms of what that early sort of intervention should be, which is where I went to find Medper, and I was very lucky to come across the Medper team. They're a young team. This was a brainchild of the founder owner's university project. So he's been working on this for the last 8 years. And I was looking at some of his previous iterations that he's worked through, and he's come up with this solution, and it was aimed at elderly parents in India. So you've got a lot of elderly parents who are left in the villages, in the rural areas, but the kids have moved to the city to go and get jobs. But mom and dad are on multiple medications. It's like, how can we support them? So they built this very simple smart box, and it's connected by Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. And one of the things that they realized was that mom and dad turn off the Wi-Fi because they think it can save them money, and they don't want to. So that they went, oh gosh, okay, so we need it to still beep and alert even though the Wi-Fi is off. So they've worked around all of those sort of issues, and they've created a very simple piece of technology. And when I looked at it, I went, oh, people don't need to put their medication into those little plastic pill boxes, which is what's happening at the moment. God knows how many mistakes happen. The doorbell rings, you're in the middle of dispensing your meds into the plastic pill box. You go, oh my God, what's this white tablet compared to this white? Sort of saying that it's really interesting that you've kind of understood that medication errors happen when people are dispensing their meds into those little plastic pill boxes. And because this smart box allows you to put your actual strip medication in straight into the box, and it will just say on the lid, take 2 of these, you can just dispense the meds at that time. So it just reduces that confusion around if you're on multiple medications, and it can accommodate up to 8 different tablets as well. So Ivondos coming into the UK allowed me to create the toolkit. And what I'm doing now is trying to build the early part of the toolkit around sort of education and awareness on why it's important to take your medication. So coming back to your question, I didn't really want to do a new business, but I recognize that there's a gap in the market, and no one's going to build the toolkit because financially it doesn't make sense, right? It's some of these tools that I'm promoting at the top end are free, but I want to promote them because they're really good. Like one of them is called I Manage My Meds. It's been developed by Leeds and Bradford University. It's funded by NIHR. They've created this amazing, it's just a checklist about what to do when you receive your medication. And there's loads of videos of users talking about how they managed to do their medication. And because it was developed in Bradford, the videos are available in English and in Urdu. So it's an incredible resource that everybody needs to know about. Every single healthcare practitioner should know about I Manage My Meds because it's been developed. But I know, as you know, there's so much good stuff out there that just dies a death because no one picks it up and runs with it. And because it's free, no entrepreneur is going to pick it up and say, you know what, I'm going to promote this for you for
Mm,
nothing. So, and that's why I wanted to do the toolkit. It's like, let's find all the best practice stuff. Let's
mm-hmm.
put it all
Yeah.
together in the toolkit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'll make money. That at some point.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But I like doing stuff that's for the greater good anyway. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of it. That's what fuels me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a very simple lady. I kind of I recycle a lot. So
All right. Okay.
I have
Yeah. Well,
simple
good thing to
needs.
do.
I have
Good thing to
simple
do.
needs. Um, but it's just kind of I'm trying to fix that
Yeah.
medication adherence at 50%. I just think that I've got a few more years left to work. If I can improve how people take their medication
Mm-hmm.
and put it up to 80%, because that's
Mm-hmm.
all you need. You need to
Yeah.
take your meds at least 80% of the time for them to be
Mm-hmm.
effective.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't even need to take them 100%, at
Mm-hmm.
least 80%. So 4 out of 5 days, you should take them
Mm-hmm.
correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's kind of my drive at the moment. It's like, how can I improve medication adherence? Not
Okay.
just within the UK, but globally. And I think
Mm-hmm.
with the little smart box I've got, I
Mm-hmm.
actually think it's such a clever piece of technology that
Mm-hmm.
we can do this. We can actually do this at a really, really simple but
Mm-hmm.
effective way by using that support network around an individual to push and prompt people to that favorable outcome.
Okay. Excellent. So, in terms of what you've done so far is phenomenal work and identifying gaps in the society, in a market, if you want to call it, and also connecting these various great pieces of technology or processes and bundling it together and making it available so to address the major challenges in most of the economies, I guess. This so do you think there's medication adherence is a problem across all, like health economies, like advanced, low and middle income countries as well?
Definitely, it's
Yeah.
a worldwide issue, and actually, the World Health Organization
Mm,
said that if you improve medication adherence,
mm.
then that would have a greater advantage than any technological improvement. Can you
Oh,
imagine that? It's like
yeah,
you're
yeah,
talking about everyone's looking at AI and
yeah,
bots and
yeah.
genome, but
Mhm.
actually just get people to take the meds that they're currently being given,
Yeah, yeah.
improve that adherence, and you'll have a better advantage. You'll have
Mm, mm.
more impact than
Yeah,
anything else. So for me,
absolutely.
it seems, we spend £19.8 billion on prescription medication in the
Mm,
UK
mm, mm.
every year. 19 billion, right?
90 billion. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I reckon a billion of that is wasted because
Mm,
people just don't, that they
yeah.
just, leave
Mm,
their meds. There's some data, some old data from 2002, I think it is, about
mm.
it being sort of 500 million was the waste. But I
Wow.
think it's
Yeah,
way more than that. It's, that's an old figure. And
yeah,
the amount we spend on meds has gone up considerably since then.
yeah.
So and in less developed countries, it's actually adherence is even worse because they have
Mm,
poorer health literacy.
mm,
So you take India for example. So in India, there's a website called medwiki.in,
mhm,
and Medwiki, they recognise that when you go and see a doctor in India, you see him
mm,
for 2 minutes and you come out with 3 tablets,
mhm,
and because the doctors are paid by prescription. So they will
mm.
write you 3 tablets in 2 minutes and you walk out and you're like, well, why do I need these? So
Yeah.
MedWiki was created and it's backed by pharmacists
Mm,
and clinicians. So
mm,
they create a video library around common conditions and common drugs and
mhm.
lifestyle. So you can go on there and you can do a quiz about how much caffeine should I take? How much
Yeah.
am I drinking? Am I having too much caffeine? So you can
Mm,
fill the
mm,
quiz in and it'll
mm.
ask you how many cups of coffee, how much Diet Coke you drink, or
Mm.
how many Red Bulls you have.
Right.
And then at the end, it will give you a little
Mm.
sort of a screen to say, yeah, you're doing really great. Your
Yeah.
caffeine intake is of a good level, or you really should think about cutting down on your caffeine. So it's not just around
Yeah.
medication, it's
Mm.
also around lifestyle as well. And because it's India, you've got the sort of natural homeopathy sort of stuff as well in there. And
Yeah.
it's a great resource. And so I often in the toolkit, Medwick is there in the toolkit because I think it's a great resource. You know, the videos are available in multiple languages, multiple India dialects and English.
Wow.
They're really simple to understand. You can put in your sort of drug name into there, and it will tell you. It will give you an overview of what that drug is and the side effects and everything, and why you're taking it. And then it will link you to, you know, it's because you've got diabetes, and this is what you should be doing to manage your diabetes, and it will be a nice video. So there's, you know, there's so much good stuff out there at the moment, and it's just trying to bring everything together. But yeah, medication adherence or non-adherence is a global issue, and I'm hoping that something as simple as this smart box can, you know, help globally, because there's no reason why we can't use this right across the world.
Excellent. So obviously, most of your target population or older age population with some kind of cognitive function issues, mental health, or even dexterity or mobility-based issues, contributing towards, to some extent or greater extent in various geographies, medication non-adherence. What is your take on that?